What's going on, everyone? It's Justin, editor of Rapzilla.com, and I am here with the boys in Social Club Misfits, Marty and Fern, and we are going to talk about their new album, Feared by Hell. We're going to talk about Feared by Hell and hopefully get into what makes some of this album incredible and what they do best, which is drop dope music as a duo. And they actually drop dope music as solo artists too. We'll get into that. So, how are you guys doing today? Are you excited about this album?
I'm just happy. I'm pumped. Number one in the country.
Let's go, man. It's been a minute since we do some numbers like that. Let's go.
We're prophesying right now. We're prophesying.
Prophesying. Well, you guys dropped the Mood and Doom EPs, which was basically kind of just a project that you separated, right?
Yeah. When we did that, we just felt like, with Capitol, the requirement each year is to drop like a certain set number of songs. And so I think me and Fern, like, we'd always drop in the beginning of the year and then we tour it for the rest of the year. But the way hip hop is, we were like, man, like, it would just suck if we dropped music and didn't drop music at the end of the year. So I think that was the idea. So we spread it out and we spread it out throughout the year. It became Mood and Doom.
Right. So for the new album title, Feared by Hell, like, I get the sentiment just by hearing the name, but could you maybe like unpack that a bit more of just what the actual concept of that name and the record that went behind it?
Yeah. So I'll describe what it's the behind the scenes, what it meant, and then Fern will describe the cover. So
sure.
The idea was, we were on tour. We were doing the House of Blues tour in California. And when we got to the last stop in San Diego, at this point, the outbreak had kind of, taken off and things were already moving. And one of my buddies came up to me and he was backstage with us. And he was like, listen, like, I heard this really cool dream. And he was sharing it with us. And the idea was this older woman came up to him and was like, I'm really excited to see a generation that's feared by hell. And I was like, whoa, what a cool name that is, like, Feared by Hell. Like, what does that mean? And so he was kind of like, she just was prophesying kind of in a dream form, this idea of a generation that was so fueled with the message of Jesus that they became a force. And we took it a step further and we were like, we wanted our identities as misfits, as people who believe in Jesus and are countercultural with our music, to be our identity is loved by heaven and feared by hell. And the idea is that we're so loved by Jesus, we're so forgiven, so set free, that reality applies to our life right now. And so we don't want to be Christians that are defensive. We want to be Christians that are offensive in our faith, in the sense of we want to be the ones who are going out there and sharing the love of Jesus and not waiting for the world to make a move or waiting for culture to make the move. Like, this is who we've been called to do. And so that's kind of like the meaning behind Feared by Hell.
And Justin, just to piggyback right with it and transition, just like he set it up, when you look at the artwork and you look at me and Martin, obviously we're in dress clothes. It looks like we were probably thinking of celebrating something. And then, for the most part, it was like, think about 2019. One thing I didn't realize, because I wasn't trying to throw that year away, but a lot of people were saying, yo, throw the whole year away. I remember a lot of people saying that for 2019, and then we got hit with 2020. So just visually picture us at a New Year's Eve bash, celebrating with the fam, thinking about a beautiful 2020, making moves, making plans, and then we get hit with the pandemic. But regardless of the pandemic, we were able to still, wade through it, maneuver through it, and still come out with an album. And ironically enough, it's one of the first albums. I don't know if it's one of the first albums, but it's our first album that we put out without traveling or seeing any kind of outside references or anything that you would usually get when you're traveling as an artist. You know what I'm saying? So we literally, sat in our homes. And so thank God for, skill set and us putting in the hours of so many years actually writing songs and doing this, that even when we couldn't write, we could write. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
regardless of what we were going through as writers, we just dug deeper into that, dug deeper into almost the nothingness. And we're able to, like, I feel like the beauty of this album is, Justin, after I just said all that, you won't be able to tell. You know what I mean? You won't
Yeah.
be able to tell that that was happening. So that was super, super dope about it.
Yeah, man, that's dope. And maybe this sort of goes with what you were just saying, how you guys were kind of at home writing and not on the road. But this is a very feature heavy album. Like
Yeah.
9 of your 12 tracks have features. So is that kind of an intentional step just to bring in outside influences while everyone was kind of inside?
No, because we when we finished the album, that's when we asked everyone for the features. I think in the past we had like let the features kind of dictate the choruses, and like we would try to make it a group experience where it's like, all right, let's send it to Dylan and see what he thinks for a chorus, and let's think about it. And so this album, we basically made all the songs, and then at the tail end, we were like, should we have some features on it? And like, who do we love right now? And who are the people that we love touring with? Like when we did our House of Blues tours, we had No Big Deal open up for us, and then a lot of the people on this project are people we've been on tour with, whether it's Riley, Clemens, who's on the final song. She opened up for us. Like we like to incorporate that idea of like family in what we do. And so this was a little bit different because they were all at the final step of this album, was like getting their vocals to send it to our engineer to mix it as a part of the song, and then like me doing post on the musical the beats.
Yeah, so for the most part, this project was like ready to go, almost like it was written. You guys kind of could have put it out as is without the features.
We could have definitely. Besides about 2 features, like, we could have, but that's not what, like, music's a collaborative experience.
Right.
You want to have, your friends on the songs. You want to have, like the Jeremy Camp. We could have put a lot of these songs out with just the chorus, but when you inject it with somebody who you look up to, or you like a Jeremy Camp, like he took the song to the level that we were trying to take it at, and so that's the fun part about collaboration. It's like when you can get in a room and work with people, that just kind of that energy just comes out in the music. So
Yeah, so Marty, to kind of bank on some of what you were saying too, I know you took the reins on a lot of the production for this album, which is a first, right, for you, for a social club project. So did that change the dynamic for both of you in how you approached the project because you were kind of handling it?
I think this project, like me and Fern, this is our technical 4th album, but it's not. We've done so much music over the years. Like I know Fern and he knows me very well. And so for us, when I create for Marty, it's not what I create for Social Club. What Fern creates as a solo artist is not what Social Club. It's like we come together and form a new sound. And so for this project, a lot of it, like I knew, like I was really excited to show Fern. I remember I was walking my dog and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start sending you stuff. You tell me what you think about these. And each one, he was like, I'm gonna spaz, I'm gonna spaz, I'm gonna spaz. Like he was like, I'm ready in it, I'm in it to win it. And so I think that, this album really came together because it's like we've been working on this album for like, pieces of our past kind of played into this album where we like have worked in the past so well together that this project was seamless. And I think that if we were just new artists starting out, it would have been a little bit rockier because it would have been like, I don't see the vision, or I don't, like, we knew what the vision was and what we wanted to accomplish. And it's fun to work with people who, it's fun to work with a team that understand the vision. And like Social Club, it's its own brand. And, I think fans expect to have an eclectic album when they hear our music. Like every single album we do is so many elements to it, whether it's, we start with the trap or we start with the hip hop and then we go to a Latin song. Like that's what we're becoming known for, as eclectic artists that just, want our hands in almost everything. And so this project, making that, we had conversations beforehand, but it just kind of, it came together really perfect. And so I love how it came out. I think that every single song is awesome. There's not a song that I wouldn't want on this project. And it's a good, like, perfect timing for an album to drop.
Yeah, I know, like, you guys sort of have trademark things you do every album. Like, there'll be the Fern song, the Marty song, or now you have the Spanish song
Yeah.
and that like worshipful anthem at the end. So like these are things, signature things that we come to expect from every Social Club album. So Fern, do you think kind of even having Marty do that production, that becomes now even more of a signature thing for you guys, because it's like Social Club is completely in-house, almost like this is exactly what you can expect from us. We're going to give you the worship anthem. We're going to give you the solo tracks, which you didn't do this time, right?
Yeah. I don't think we did it on the last album either.
I thought you did on the last album. Okay.
On Wood and Doom, we didn't do it. On I think on the previous project, which was Into the Night, we did.
Yeah.
And I think this last album, because it was split up odd, we didn't do it. This new album, it just didn't come out. Like I think that this is like the first time we didn't. I didn't think about it. I was just kind of like, let's just make great music and like end it, you know.
Yeah. So Fern, like, do you think those signature, like, do you think it's cool to have these signature moments as Social Club, and do you feel like almost like that's something that's expected and you have to deliver, like as far as that worshipful anthem, that Spanish song?
I mean, make a long story short, I don't feel like we have the pressure to deliver it when we're the ones who invented it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if anytime we want to put that out, anytime we want to, do that sequence, we can always sequence it that way. When you see us progressively moving differently or moving forward, or maybe we don't do it this time, something we may have been known for doing, it's always moving forward. There's always like methods to the madness. But just to come back on a question that I heard you ask to show you respect on a question, like when Marty started sending me stuff, it made perfect sense that I was easily gravitating to all the production, because like, we spent many years together, even just the times in hotels and stuff like that. Like, we know each other's music tastes, we know each other's, comedy tastes. I know types of movies he likes. I know the villains he likes, you know what I mean? Things of that nature. So like, I say all that to say this, like when he makes a beat, like he knows where I'm gonna be at in that beat. He knows where I'm supposed to be at. And so since he's making it, he knows exactly what should be there, because we, like he said, we constructed a Social Club sound that's totally different than our solo sounds, but we're both familiar with that social sound. So when he started sending production over, I was like, I could already see where I go. I could already see the vision, what was happening. And you have to stand outside of yourself and always put in that team uniform on when it comes, and you have to put on those team eyes and start to see what a vision has. You know what I mean? It might not be a normal song that I would do personally on a solo album, but I know that that's a Social Club song, and I know that I belong there. Like you naturally know. It was like phoning home every time. He sent the beat, and it was like phoning home every time. It was real easy. So I really do appreciate that we have everything in-house now. We're not having to reach out as much, even though we like to collaborate with certain producers that we love. So that'll never stop. You know what I'm saying? But I love it that, we have everything in house, and we could produce a sound that's super organic to us, but super familiar to us. And every time we deliver it, it's always been a breath of fresh air. I feel this one's going to do that too.
So I feel like you guys evolve your sound with every project that you're doing since the beginning. Like you're always constantly trying to push that envelope of what you're doing. So for me, are there like three, I'm going to say three, like what would be your top three kind of pivotal game-changing moments that really elevated what Social Club could be, I guess, as far as your albums or projects are concerned?
I mean, to me, in my personal opinion, there was a bunch of moments that were like the big pivotal moments. One was Que Lo Que for us, for sure. Que Lo Que was a good crossover Latin song, and it did very well. That's one. It's still doing well. Like Latin music just doesn't stop; it just keeps going. So that's one. I think War Cry was definitely, we won an award off it. One of our best-selling songs. That was a big deal. And I think, for us, like, Into the Night, Misadventures, they were, if I had to go back and look at them, I would be like, there's so many things I would change on those albums. Because I feel like what Fern said, when you have like multiple producers and you have all these different things, it's easy for, like, sometimes producers want to shine and they want to make sure that like they're a focus of whatever they're doing. So you'll have like a random song that doesn't kind of gel with the rest. And it's like fans don't really know, but I think as an artist, you think about that stuff. And so I think that Misadventures was a great project. And a lot of people like it. When we first initially put that out, everyone kind of crapped on us. I'm not gonna lie. Like there wasn't a lot of good reviews, even though it sold very well.
Really?
It did
Yeah.
well. People always. I remember telling Fern when we had a couple shows and Hovey opened up for us, and he pulled us aside. And he's like, "My favorite album from you guys is the Misadventures." And I was like, "Man, like how many people didn't like that album?" And he was like, "No, that's absolutely a game changer for me." And I think about it like, it's different. So I think our music, like, it hits later on, maybe. I don't know what it is, or maybe I don't know what it is, but it's like, that moment, I like that project, but people kind of crapped on it. Then Into the Night, we wanted to show more of the lyrical side. I think that we've been able to shift our career over time into a brand that gives you quality music, and doesn't sound like Reach, or like it sounds like its own entity. And that's why I like what KB said earlier on one of his interviews. He goes, like, he's like, I love Reach, but I think that to make this genre grow and to make it bigger, there has to be more than just one person leading the path. We all have to make an effort. And I think Social Club has made the effort to stretch Christian music in our own way, in a special way. And we've been able to cross into CCM, cross into Latin, cross on a bunch of different things. So I feel like we're constantly like making decisions and intentionally making moves that open another door for someone behind us, or open a door for us so we can, win or do something great. It's such a weird thing. You don't really know until afterwards. Like we didn't know Kalo K was gonna be so big until we saw the label was like, what do you want? How do you want to film this video? How much money do you want? And we're like, oh, I guess it's doing good. Like you try things and you work hard and you hope that, God blesses it and it reaches people's souls. But yeah, you really kind of don't know. It's a gamble sometimes.
Yeah, I think I tweeted this the other day. Like an artist is only as good as their biggest hit album, or the album that the fan entered listening to that artist at. So
it's a big
like
deal.
Yeah, like for me, my first like listening to Social Club was Misadventures, because I was super late to the CHH community, because I covered other Christian music before. So when I got to Rapzilla, Misadventures was like the first thing that came out when I was working with Rapzilla. So for me, that's like my special album also. So that probably happened to Hovey. That was probably like the first record that
I think it was for a lot of people. I mean, I thought
that opened a new audience.
2 was a big album, like we thought Misfits 2 was big because it sold like 8,000 first week, but it really, if you think about it, that's 2014, and then 4 years later we dropped Misadventures. So whoever was, let's say 16, they're 20 now. When they heard it, so like we thought that the best was sometimes behind us, but it was always in front of us. Like our best stuff is always coming. So I could see that. I could definitely see that. It's also our first album with the label. Was Misadventures, and we had something to prove there to show people why we were here.
Right. No, it's dope. Now, Fern, you were sending me, like I joked with you in the text, you were sending me freestyles like every day, every other day at some point. So Marty dropped his solo album this year. So when are we getting the Fern project?
I'm working on it now. I'm working on some stuff. Marty sent me a beat the other day that I recorded something to. The long story short, I'm starting to do full songs, so I'm starting to stack a project. We're working on the Social Club stuff, making sure all that's taken care of. And then as soon as I get a few things that I'm ready to show the label that I feel strong about moving forward with, then I'll be doing that. But you can count on me working on one. I'm not putting a date on it at this moment, but as soon as I know, I'll come to you.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. Well, I think it's cool when you guys did your deal with Capitol, was also part of the deal that you guys could put out solo records, or did you guys kind of just work that in by just dropping solo records?
You know what? To be honest with you,
Yeah,
I thought it was
we
a
thought
part of
it
the
was
deal.
that there
We
was
thought it was.
an addendum there.
I definitely thought it was a part of the solo deal, but the thing is, it's difficult. See, like labels, they don't think like an independent artist would. Where an independent's just trying to drop content. Labels are like, all right, if you drop a project, we're gonna promote this for 6 months. So like, you can't drop anything for 6 months. Keep pushing that. You know, if you ever notice, you see a Kendrick, you see like a lot of these bigger artists, they drop one album and focus on it for 3 years.
Yeah.
Somehow labels give it more life. You know, whether it's a video or something. And so it becomes a little more complicated. The conversations became more complicated because we take a couple months to work on a project. Let's say the project drops in June. All right, well, like we're not, hey, if you could work on something, but Social Club's coming up again, you know, like, and so it became a little bit harder. So even for Marty for President was pulling teeth. It was pulling teeth to put that. I mean, it was really, really hard to put that project out. And those songs were done 6 months ago. All they needed to do was get mixed. It was a long time. I was sitting on all those, they all felt old, you know? And so, but it was like pulling teeth because when you had the machine of Social Club doing very well, why get outside of that and take the gamble? And that, I think labels see it as like, it's an investment. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're doing really good. Why would you decide to do something? But I was always like, this is what me and Fern have always wanted. We've wanted to drop solo stuff. We wanted to be able to exercise any of the options we have. And so it's definitely a dynamic we've come into. And, you know, it's who we are. We're two solo artists and we also make a group. So it's like you have three different sounds that you could pick from, you know, whether it's Social Club, Marty, or Fern.
Yeah, you would have had to work around it. Like you would have had to been like Social Club presents Fern or presents Marty or starring, you know, Marty. And then it's like, oh, it just so happens to just be one guy on this Social Club album, but it's an experiment. Then you could have dropped like your double EP like Outkast did.
We
Like Andre and
considered
Big
that
Boy.
once. We considered that once. But then, you know, the thing is, it's difficult. You know, like, again, Social Club is a brand. It's a machine. It
Yeah.
goes. We get booked. You know, there's money flowing. Why? I think the idea is like, why would you stop that? But the fans are like, we love that. And I think me and Fern, we make so much music. We could technically put music out all year. And I think that's what we did as independents. And even though labels love that, it definitely gets a little complicated.
Yeah, I'll kick this question to both of you. What's the difference in writing for yourselves as opposed to writing together as Social Club? Like, what's the different gear that okay, this is a Fern song, this is a Social Club song, and same thing for you, Marty. I guess Fern, you start.
You know what? I think it's just a natural progression, man. It's like when I know I'm on a Social Club Misfits song, which is our song, you know what I'm saying, which is mine and his. Um, I feel like when I start to artistically create, I'm not only leaving room for my bro to be able to create with me on the track, but we want to gel and we want to sound like it makes sense because it does. So when I hear the music, you know, you always leave room and you always attack it knowing that there's a narrative, you know, like we'll always attack a song on purpose. And I remember when we started doing that, before we were just sending verses to each other and it just like magically worked, whatever. But then like I remember like Into the Night, possibly a little bit before that, but definitely Into the Night, we were like, yo, we're doing this about this, we're doing this, just to let you get a peek about how much God was in this, because like he let us ride for many years with just, you know, rapping dope songs. But when we started really grabbing these narratives and really starting to paint these pictures and really starting to like pull out music that was really touching the soul and matching up to the stories that we would see at these conferences and at these festivals, and you know, people standing in line with their stories, it was dope, you know what I'm saying. But I feel like when I write just a Fern song, I feel like it's almost like when you're somewhere by yourself, you're doing you. You know what I'm saying? You're doing you. You know what I'm saying? You're taking care of yourself. And then when I'm with Marty, I'm considerate of my brother. I'm there. If you know, even on lyrically, if something's going down, like it's the same thing. We were in the streets together, something's going down. I'm there for my brother. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it in audio. You know, when we're on a track together, we're there together. We make it sound like a motion picture. But you know, the same way I have lines, he has lines. We're in the same movie. You know what I'm saying? And we just make that thing happen. But yeah, when I write for myself, I'm just, you know, I'm dealing with my narratives, and I get to do whatever I want, and I don't have to necessarily think about anything else at that point. But yeah, I guess that's how I would say it. You know, you look out and you leave
Yeah.
room because you know that that's how that is.
Marty, you the same sentiment for you?
Yeah. So for me, I think that like when I create with Social Club, like Fern said, it definitely is a little bit different because I think when you create for Social Club, it's the narratives there. You know, it's a brand. You know, we are focused on reaching a certain person with that. Um, and I think when I create, I personally like my musical style has changed for so long. You know, over the last couple of years, it's been changing. So like when I see Marty as a solo artist, I want to explore pop. I want to explore rock. I want to explore different elements of sounds that we do as Social Club. That like my solo project, you're always going to be like, what are you going to do? And I want people to want that. So like my second single was an acoustic song with Holland. My first single was a song with Andy. It was like I gave the fans I know what they want to listen to the rest of the project. Then I hit them with something different. So for me, I think, I'm starting to turn into this person who enjoys the melodic hip hop more and more. And so obviously, me and Fern, we cross like pollinate. I don't know if it's the right word, but like we totally like bring all the brands together when we make Social Club. But me as a solo artist, like I'm still exploring that because I don't really know who I am as a solo artist. Because I think when you do music so long as a group, you're like, man, there's so many things that like maybe I could speak about, or so many soundscapes that I want to do. So for me, like a lot of the new music I've been making for like me personally stacking up has been like more rock. Like I've been making rock music or making pop stuff, and I'm kind of gravitating to the hip hop pop stuff. But with Social Club, what I'm always thinking about is like live performance, hype, exciting, fans, conferences, church event. Like I'm thinking, all right, with Marty, I don't have any of that stuff. So when you create, you're building another brand from scratch. It's a little bit different, but it's fun because it's a new adventure. It's a new thing to explore.
Yeah. I get it 100%. Now, here's something away from the album, just observationally, but something you guys have made a note of. You guys are kind of on this, both of you, on like a health journey, a health kick. Marty, you talked about losing weight and feeling good. And Fern, I see you posting every day like tons of vegetables and greens and chefing it up. So for you guys, how important is kind of that health journey for your lives right now, and how do you think that would be difficult to manage when you guys get back on the road?
No, you know what? On the Marty knows on the road I stay disciplined. He knows that. I've been able to like, through my journey of losing weight in the last few years, probably 2017 on the friends and family tour. I remember having my like Herbalife shakes, and I was going hard. I had my vitamins and whatever. And but it's just been, I'll keep it 100, man. When Chadwick Boseman passed away, the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, the beautiful human being, when he passed away, and I found out how old he was. He was 43, and then I was really close to like my age and stuff like that. And I'm like, dang, he was filming all the movies. He had to be fit. He had like what's going on, and all that time he was going through that struggle. It just hit me hard, man. It hit me hard, and it really set a fire under me to like really look after my health. You know what I'm saying? And I started researching and reading, and went and got my physical done. I got all my numbers back yesterday, and I'm like 50, my cholesterol is like 50 points under. everything is like all my numbers are in the green, nothing's in the red. And it's just an incredible thing because I've been putting in the work.
Yeah.
And it was good to see it. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I just feel like health is a new priority, especially in the age bracket that I'm in. I'm teaching it to my family. I'm teaching it to my kids. And it's something that I recommend everybody start to really look into, not just to lose weight, but because things that I've learned, put it this way, things that I learn now, I'm teaching my kids early. So they never have to go through this. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, you know, you any kind of health defects or anything later in the future because of bad eating, you know, but health has just become a really important priority in my life lately.
Yeah. What about you, Marty?
Yeah. So for me, like I've explored different. Like I've had meetings with people who are like, they're doctors and they help you with your weight, and I've seen that, and I've come to the place where like I've learned to like what kind of a body do I want? Like I don't. One thing about being big, it's like you always constantly want to buy new things because you're trying to cover up the fact that you don't like the way you look. And so for me, I like to feel good, right? So that requires me to take a certain amount of calories and stuff. So what I've been doing is I've totally changed my diet. Like I don't really eat bread anymore. I'm doing like health shakes in the morning, vitamins, everything. It's important. Like I feel like one of the reasons why we are able to possibly dodge COVID, I feel like our immune systems are bananas. Like when you're on a tour bus, you can get shot in the head and recover because it's like, dude, like you're unstoppable, like being on a tour bus. So because you're with like 12 guys, it's bad. It's like, oh, it's a mess. But I think to myself, like, I'm glad that our immune systems are up. Let me continue that. So me and my wife, we've just been on a health journey as well. And my wife works out every single day, and she's crushing it. But we've totally altered our style, and it's hard to do because I'm Italian. I mean, me and Fern are Puerto Rican, so like all Latin food, especially Puerto Ricans, like all like starch based. Like everything is
Yeah.
right. Everything is like fried. It's so unhealthy for you. And so, as a kid, it doesn't, who cares? You're a kid, whatever. But when you hit past 30, like me and Fern, you're like, I need to like take care of myself. Also, like there's an element of, you're in the entertainment business. Take care of yourself. You're getting photographed. You're in video all the time. Make sure you look good. Make sure, you take care of yourself so you don't feel insecure. And I think fans, when they see someone take care of themselves, it's good. It's good for them. Like they can relate better. When you see so many artists I would like, but their brand and their image is off, and I'm like, just not my type of person. So that plays into it as well. Entertainment, health, feeling good about yourself, and so I think we're just trying to create habits that we can carry throughout our life that don't just become a diet. For 6 weeks. This is a lifestyle I think me and Fern are pursuing.
Yeah, man. Rice beans, benil,
Listen, you gotta eat wild
pastelillos,
rice. You gotta eat
pastelillos
wild
every day.
rice.
That's
You
no
heard?
bueno.
You gotta get off the white rice. You gotta get on wild rice. Wild rice is the only natural rice that's grown. Look it up. It's legendary too. And then the only beans you should be eating are garbanzo beans. I'd share that tip
Chickpeas.
to my plate. Yep, chickpeas. You already know. And you can make a variety of different things from chickpeas, but I'll start you with that.
Hashtag FernFit. Final thoughts, anything you want to say about the project or what you guys are doing?
I would say, this album is not like previous albums. This is not, we try to step away from making like youth group friendly music. I mean, we've tried to transition that over the years. And I think in the last 2 years, we've done that with the war cries and with the enough. Like these are very heavy topics. So, I would encourage anyone who is a fan of ours, listen to it, promote it, but maybe you don't listen to us. I would recommend checking it out. Listen to the first 5 songs. And I think that's all you really need to know. I think it's the best album of 2020. And I really believe that, this is the album that people are going to be like, oh, okay, they're not playing around. And so I hope that, I hope it does well and it's doing well. Did you hear the album, Justin? Didn't I?
Yeah. You sent it to me. I told you what I thought. You remember?
Okay.
I texted it to you. No, I thought it was It was great. I listened to it again with my daughter because she's a big fan, as I told you guys, of Dive. So I was like,
Oh, she got the
I was
scoop.
like, these are the Dive guys, and she's like, oh, okay. But yeah,
Fire.
like I said, just hearing you guys collaborate together with those features, and then
Yeah.
as I asked you about having those worshipful anthems usually to close out the album,
Yeah.
like you guys have signature moments, and you can get that expectation of what a Social Club record is going to sound like, that quality, that polish. You're going to get a little bit of, now that you're doing the production, you're going to get a little bit of more of that pop feel on certain songs.
Yeah.
And like you said, Fern, you're going to fit into those pockets around Marty's production, and it feels like, you know, when people say, oh, this is our mature album, like this is your album, that it's like we just kind of threw it all out there, we put our talents out there to the max, and this is what we got. And that's what I felt when listening to your project.
Good. Well, there's the commercial. I just wanted you to do it.
But listen, one thing I want to say, I know you like those anthems, and I still, obviously, there's a big, huge, that Savior song with Jeremy Camp, that's going to be right up your alley.
Yep.
And, you know, it's good. I want you to continue to listen to them because they're going to bring you different messages. But also, Without You, ironically enough, that's our another worship and praise. That's the way we worship. Also, we got our sister Riley Clemens on that joint. But the way that, I mean, the emotions really go hard on that song, and I feel like we were literally worshiping on that song. It took me to another place when I was writing that verse. So that maybe you're starting to see the evolution of, you know, the way we bring those songs to light as well. But I don't want them to sleep on the fact that, you know, Without You could definitely be in that same lane. You know what I mean? We
That
definitely, you know, we're reaching out. Yeah, we're reaching out for hearts on that for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Dope. Thank you guys so much.
Dude, you're the man. Hey,
I'll let you guys go. What?
thank you, and thank you, Rapzilla, for always showing love, always, you know, showing love and making sure you always take care of us, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support, and shout out to you guys.